showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Silent and profiling. It's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, brother?
What up, brother? Just trying to get ready. I got off work late, so I was unprepared for this, but, you know, we'll work through it.
It's all good, man. Look what he does for the Mafia. Look what he does for the Mafia. Shows up right after work. Doesn't care. No food in his stomach.
No.
That's what he does for the Mafia. Thank you, Mr. Mikey. Thank you, Mr.
Brother.
Mikey.
Yeah,
go
what's
Bills.
going on,
Damn
brother?
right, go Bills.
Happy Monday.
Hey, man, happy Monday. And I do want to start this show out by saying happy 50th birthday to a living legend, my main man, Mr. Eric Moulds. Happy birthday, brother.
Ooh, 50, huh?
50, man. And I do want to play something real quick.
EA Sports is in the game. Moulds, holla back.
Madden NFL 2004.
So we talk about Josh Allen being the first Buffalo Bill player ever to be on the cover of Madden. But I was pretty damn excited back in 2004 when Eric Moulds got to be on the intro of Madden. So that was pretty damn cool because, you know, back in the day, we were terrible. You know? But yeah, man, thank God the D-Hop news is done. Yeah, Jason, it is over. No more having to talk about that crap anymore. It is what it is. I still think the Buffalo Bills should have probably pursued that a little better, but it goes on. Life goes on, and now the rest of the receiving corp has to show up because if they don't, this is going to be if you think this, by the way, if you guys think this topic, this D-Hop conversation is over now, it could be, but I'm going to tell you right now, if this season these receivers don't step up, this D-Hop conversation is going to be like crazy in the offseason next year. I'm going to tell you that right now because I promise you, Mikey, everyone's going to be screaming, why didn't the Bills do what they had to do to get D-Hop? That's if the receivers that we have in the room don't show up. Now, if they do, Brandon Beane's going to be brilliant. He's going to be the man. He didn't jump the gun, didn't overpay, whatever you want to say. But I'm just being honest with you guys. Yeah, the Barkley situation in the news. Yeah, man, is in the news. I know. Now Barkley, you're talking about Saquon, I'm guessing. Saquon is not happy. He wants to get paid. And, man, I got to be honest with you guys. I like him. And I listen, but I have a tough time paying running backs. I do. I feel for these GMs because, yes, they're important. You got to have a good running back, but it's such a risky move after 5 or 6 years on a team. It's so risky. You can almost just let them finish out the rookie contract and get another one. I know it's a crappy thing to say, but if you look at some of the running backs that got paid, Gurley, there's others that, you know, I just not thinking right now, but most of them fade out, Zeke. Man, or get hurt. Zeke, yes, I'm sorry. You're right. Elliott got a huge contract, did not work out. It's a risky move, man, when it comes to running backs. But I don't know, especially with running backs that had major injuries, and Saquon had an injury early on. Right? So I don't know, man. Giants are in a tough situation, guys. That's tough because if you let them walk and you're really, or whatever you got to do, you're in a tough situation. What is going on, Red, White, and Bills, man? So, yeah, I don't know what I would do. Honestly, that's tough, man. What would you do, Mikey? I'm just curious.
That's a good question.
It's tough, right? It's so tough.
Honestly, this year, I probably would have signed him. I don't know if I would have given Daniel Jones $40 million.
You know, he's not
Honestly.
taking his 10 though. He could get 10 this year.
Yeah, but I think I would
That's
have
a
rather.
lot.
I think I would have
money.
rather gone the free agent quarterback route
Okay.
and signed Barkley than give Daniel Jones $40 million a year. Because think about some of the free agents out there. You know, you had Derek Carr out there. You know, Jimmy G was out there. Aaron was looking to get moved. Like there was actual quarterbacks out there that they could have gone out and got. You know, that like Derek Carr's not making $40 million a year.
I'm surprised on that contract. I still am so iffy on Daniel Jones as far as Daniel Jones go, but I don't know, man. I just feel like paying a running back that kind of money, man, it's a roll of the dice, bro. It's such a roll of the dice.
It absolutely is a roll of the dice.
And I think that's where GMs are that's where they get stuck, man. Because there's so many of them out there that they can either draft. That there's so many running backs, man, that come out of the draft, and even free agents that you can get kind of cheap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. So they really wanted to move. I mean, there's Kareem Hunt out there. You know, there's Dalvin Cook. I mean, running backs that might want a little less. Just because they want to get. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're in a tough situation, but $10 million. If I was him, honestly, that's a pretty good chunk of change, man. I would play for the 10 and just get a new contract after this year. Ball out. And somebody might pay you. You know what I mean? Going into free agency. But I don't know. That's what I would tell him if I was his agent. That's a good amount of money. You know, if you don't have a good season, whatever, you got 10 out of it. I'm just saying. That's not bad. So I don't know, Mikey. Tough. But real quick, I do want to talk a little Moulds. I know you're getting Mikey came to by the way, guys, Mikey's preparing because we're going to be talking about quarterbacks, wide receiver, and running back.
Download, yes.
Exactly. So I'm going to stall some time while Mikey's doing the tech work on his side, guys. So
I'm going to step out for a second.
Yeah. So you guys know I did a video today on Eric Moulds. We're going to talk a little Eric Moulds. By the way, a couple things that I totally forgot about. So did you know when we traded Eric Moulds in 2006, we traded him to Houston and we got a 5th round pick. You know who we used that 5th round pick for, guys? Kyle Williams. So Eric Moulds wanted out of Buffalo, didn't want to sign I think it was like a $10 million. And his time was done. It was 10 years, man. He played for so many bad teams and it was a good exit. It wasn't a bad exit. He didn't make it like, you know, he was like saying anything negative about Buffalo. It was just his time to move on. But in a way, if you think about it, guys, he did us a favor. He got us Kyle Williams, right? One of the most loved Buffalo Bills ever. And I also got to say, man, for what he did in Buffalo with the amount of starting quarterbacks he had, I think it was like 7, 3 head coaches, 6 offensive coordinators, to put up the numbers he did is honestly amazing, guys. Like you really have to understand that. Like if you go to the all-time Bills wide receivers list, Andre Reed obviously number 1 at 13,000, almost 14,000 yards. Moulds at 9,000, and then the next is Lee Evans at 5, a little over 5, right? But Andre Reed played 88 career more games than Eric Moulds. A lot. That's a pretty good amount of more. And Andre Reed, when he was drafted, he had nobody to compete with. Granted, James Lofton was on the team, but James Lofton at that point in his career, he was a shell of himself. He was still good, but he wasn't the guy like he was in Green Bay, the Hall of Famer, right? When Eric Moulds came to Buffalo and drafted in Buffalo in 96, he still had Andre Reed on the team. It took him, I think, till year 3 to actually be the guy. And he actually beat out Andre Reed as far as a single season record at the time before Stephon Diggs beat it with a little over 1,300 yards and 100 receptions. Andre Reed only had 90. So this isn't bashing Andre Reed or anything like that, but you guys got to remember, Andre Reed played with a Hall of Fame quarterback for pretty much all of his career. He was with a Hall of Fame coach for pretty much his whole career. And Eric Moulds did not have that right? He had multiple head coaches, terrible head coaches, multiple offensive coordinators, terrible quarterbacks. The only one that was I'll give him 2 quarterbacks that were pretty good was obviously Drew Bledsoe in 2002, and he only could do 1 year. And Doug Flutie and him had a really good connection, but you all know how the Doug Flutie story went here in Buffalo, right? I feel like if Doug Flutie was treated right and stuck around instead of stupid Rob Johnson, maybe this team could have done something back then. Just saying, maybe. But yeah, man, Eric Moulds, man, 10 years in Buffalo, gave it all he got. And I got to say, if you look at right now, like players today, if past 3-4 years, they want to be traded if they're with a team that can't win or bad records or bad coaching or bad quarterback play. They want to be out, right? Especially if you're like an pro bowler, right? Look at Stephon Diggs right now. And I'm bringing that up because Stephon Diggs, since he's come here, he's been in the playoffs, right? Every single season. And look at his frustration after 3 years here. Eric Moulds here, 10 seasons. And he didn't say anything, nothing. He just played football. It is what it is, man. He was here to stay, and he gutted it out, and you got to give him credit for that. So I definitely give Eric Moulds so much credit for being a Buffalo Bill for that long, with that like craziness going around him. And once again, man, I'll say it again. I love Fred Jackson. I love Kyle Williams, and they do deserve to be on the Wall of Fame. But Eric Moulds deserves that shot first. He deserves to be on the Wall of Fame. And I think they'll probably put him on when they build the new stadium. But it's past due, guys. It's past, way, way, way past due. And by the way, he does a lot for Buffalo and the Bills. So it's not like he left on a bad page or they don't like each other or something bad happened. You got to do the man right. Put him on the Wall of Fame already. Mikey, your thoughts? Anything on Eric Moulds before we get into the into this?
I love him. Super underrated superstar in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
An underrated Bills legend. I really believe so. He absolutely deserves the Wall of Fame. I don't know if he'll get it at the Ralph. I think the next time they do any type of thing was in the new.
That's what I
one.
think. Yeah.
And then I can see them bringing a bunch of them I can see Kyle Williams. I can see Eric Moulds. I can see Fred. I can see those guys going up.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to do a Wall of Fame like where they do it around. I think they're going to have kind of like what the Yankees did where they have a plaque room and they're going to go into like a shrine inside the new stadium, which will be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But he deserves to be honored. Like Eric Moulds was my childhood, man. Like through my teens and
on bad teams,
on horrible teams.
Right.
And he was excellent on really bad teams, and I just think about what he could have done with a really good quarterback.
Right. Really maybe possibly Hall of Fame. I
his
know
numbers borderline Hall of Fame as it is.
Yes.
You put him
5 yards short of 10,000, Mikey. That's
him
impressive.
Peyton Manning. You go with him with Peyton Manning.
Head coach.
Would have
good head coach.
Yeah.
Right?
He would have the Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne numbers if he was with him.
100%. I don't think. See, that's what I'm saying. It's funny because a lot of Bills Mafia, and I'm not saying you guys in the chat or anything, but there is some that just came on board, right? That are young, and I understand, obviously, right? We understand that, but I don't know if they like truly understand how great this guy was, or any of the former Bills players that once, put on a Bills uniform that don't get the credit, like a Fred Jackson, Kyle Williams, like guys that really didn't, these guys, new Bills Mafia didn't really get to see, but just go watch his YouTube, understand how good this dude was. He was making one-handed catches before, like the whole one-hand catch thing. Yeah, it was the thing to do, right? Like he was doing it. You know what I mean? And he was pretty fast player too, 6'2". He had a good career in Mississippi State. And once again, like I said, he was put in a bad position for many, many years, man. And a lot, and I get it too. Somebody mentioned Stevie Johnson in the chat. 100%. But I will say, Stevie Johnson, I believe, was with who's the quarterback there? The
Fitz.
Fitz Magic, who, let's be honest, he wasn't like the best, but Fitz Magic could throw
years.
Yeah, exactly. Years. But he could throw. He was never afraid to throw the ball. But Fitz, he gave him an opportunity.
Fitz and Stevie were also in the Chan Gailey offense, which was a throw heavy offense.
That's right. That's right.
Eric. The thing about Eric Moulds was he's underrated for his yak. The yards after the catch is what made Eric Moulds so freaking dominant. Like he'll take that 5-yard in route and take it 95 to the house. He had no problem. He would have thrived in today's game.
Oh, dude, can you imagine him next to Diggs? Oh my God, guys, unbelievable. But yeah, man, that's my thoughts on Moulds, man. A dude that just deserves a lot more love than I think he gets. And Mikey's right. I think if you place him on another team that actually had a quarterback in place, like a Peyton Manning or whoever back in the day, a Dan Marino, whatever, back. And a good head coach, like a team that I was like set,
that was
like,
stable.
You know what I mean? Stable, right? Stable. His numbers would have been who knows where. I mean, think about it. Andre Reed had almost 14,000 with the Bills because he had a Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm just saying.
Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame offensive lineman.
Right. Yeah, that too. I forgot. Oh, by the way, also defense. Defense in Buffalo was awful when he was here. Defense in Buffalo when Andre Reed played was pretty damn good. So I'm just saying there's a lot to be said there. So anyways, we're going to move forward. So tonight, guys, we're talking about the training camp breakdown. We're doing a training camp breakdown with the offense, quarterback, wide receiver, and running back.
I even do the tight ends if we have time.
All right, even the tight end. So did I miss any chats here, or you can't see the chats?
I can't produce the chats. Honestly,
that's all right. All right. Let me see here. That's okay.
Working on getting.
Let me see if I missed any.
While you do that, why don't you throw my screen up?
I got you. There we go.
All right. So we have the 2023 Buffalo Bills. These are the position breakdowns. We're going to do quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. If we have time tonight, we'll do tight ends. Otherwise, we'll do the tight ends with the offensive line on Friday. So when we look at it, it'll be very much like we did last year, Tommy. I have the 2022 stats, the career stats, kind of, the breakdown of each one. I went into a little bit more advanced stats on the wide receivers and the tight ends to, talk about it, and you'll see why once we get there. But we'll start with the quarterbacks. Josh Allen, last year, he actually threw almost 100 passes less last year than he did the year before. And he, so he was 359 for 567, 63.3% completion percentage. He went 52, 59, 69, 63, 63 every year. So he's steady at that, low 60s, which is fine.
Yeah.
You don't need it to be crazy. He had 4,283 pass yards, 35 touchdowns, 14 picks. Did you know last year he actually had 15 picks the year before? He threw less picks this last year than he did the year before.
I know.
And then this year he's the turnover machine. The difference was the red zone interceptions. He had 5 red zone interceptions this year. He had two previously in his entire career before this year.
I know. I remember watching games, and the announcers were so big on Allen not turning. Never threw an interception in there.
It wasn't until 2 years ago on Thanksgiving in New Orleans he threw his first red zone.
I was like,
right. The streak ended.
Yeah.
So he had 124 carries, which was up 2 carries from 2021. 762 yards, 7 touchdowns. We went down 1 from 8 touchdowns. On his career now, think about it. He started with a 52% completion percentage. His career completion percentage now is 62.5.
Yeah.
18,000, 138 touchdowns to 60 interceptions. He has over 500 carries for over 3,000 yards of 38 rushing touchdowns. He has 138 passing, 38 rushing, and he has 2 receiving, and I just didn't have room to add that.
Right. So pretty much a dog when it comes to Josh Allen. Top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback. Some may say the best quarterback. I'm not going to give it to him just yet.
I would say he's top 3.
Yeah, even though I love him, I'm still gonna, you gotta give Mahomes that notch, man.
Mahomes is
for now. Yeah, he is for now.
Flip a coin between Burrow and Allen. It's really depends on what type of quarterback you
exactly.
want.
Yeah, you could debate. I think you could debate that. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think you could debate the one spot. I'll be honest.
That's Mahomes.
I can't be a homer here and be like, Allen's the best. Like, he's damn close. He's damn close, and he's gonna get there one day. But right now, Mahomes is the guy. He's the guy with 2 Super Bowl rings,
2 MVPs,
2 MVPs. Yeah, so you can't. I gotta be realistic here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Mike.
Listen, we got a tier 1 quarterback, and when you, ranking Mahomes to Allen, they're also in 2 different systems. If Allen had Andy Reid would help him as well. You know, Patrick Mahomes, would he be as all world as he is without Andy Reid? I don't know. The dude's super talented. He'd still be really good. He may not be what he is today without Andy Reid. I don't know. It's hard to do that. So you put them.
That's
in
true.
So you tier them. It's tier 1, which is Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes right now.
Yeah.
And if you want to put Rodgers in there, you can. He's a multiple-time league MVP, one of the greatest ever.
I still want it. I want it. I want it. Not right now. Not in the stage of his career.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But if someone would argue it, I wouldn't fight it. And then you go to tier where you have the Herberts and the Jacksons and all those guys.
By the way, somebody mentioned McKenzie. Jason did cause a few of those interceptions for Allen. Matter of fact, even Cole Beasley, when Cole Beasley came back last season, forget what game it was, but it hit him right in the chest, man. It bounced off and
got picked.
Got picked, man. I forget what game was that was, but
it was late. I don't remember.
I was like, man. So James Cook as well ran the wrong route. Went one way. Josh Allen was through the other. That was an interception early on in the season too. Mm-hmm. There was a lot that wasn't really his fault. There was some that was, like the play in Minnesota was definitely his fault. Like, he just read it wrong. And if that was that kind of game, by the way, drive down the field, no problem, right? No issue. And then throws the interception, right? That game was a funky game, man, but he doesn't do it that much. He just, sometimes hey man, things happen, mistakes happen. Defenses read they get paid too.
Yeah, they do. Looking here, Red, White, and Bill says Burrow has more around him than Allen. I don't disagree with that. I believe he does. With Higgins, Chase, and Boyd, and then mix it in the backfield.
I agree.
I truly believe the Bills' offensive line this year is better than what Burrow has. But last year they were about the same. The difference was Allen escapes, and Burrow's just quick, has a quick game. Allen doesn't play that. He
I agree.
The thing that we love about Allen is he's a highlight machine.
And the Bengals have receivers who can get a short yardage pass and take it all the way sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really have the yak. Now, Shakir last year was probably our best, I would say, when he got the ball. Mm-hmm. But we didn't have that in our arsenal. We didn't have Cole Beasley like we did the year before, who was that short yardage kind of, a security blanket that he needed. So, yeah, they're 2 different kind of quarterbacks the way they play, I would say. And they got 2 different systems, right?
Yeah.
With just, I think, like Mikey said, they have better depth at wide receiver and running back. But let's see this season. I'm curious, and we'll talk about it eventually when we get to the receivers. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, Buffalo Dave operator comes in and says, yeah, with a better O-line, the whole offense will
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
If you look at a lot of Josh's trouble last year is because he was getting collapsed, pushed from inside, and then outside. How he got out of some of the stuff last year is beyond me. Because there was so many times that our offensive linemen just whiffed and Josh still made a play. Give him some time.
Yeah, listen,
Allen, Hurts, top 4, and you can take Hurts, you can take Herbert, you can take Jackson, you can take any of them, and number 4, I believe everyone believes it's Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen are the tier 1 top 3, and then you can rate whoever you want 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of offensive line, real quick, 100% on that. By the way, Buffalo Dave. If you have a good offensive line, if you have a great offensive line, they can make an average quarterback look pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. And make a running back who's okay look pretty damn good. I mean, look at Dak. Look at another great example is, and I love Peyton Manning, but when Peyton Manning went to Denver, he was not what he was, right? Especially the year they won a Super Bowl. His offensive line protected the shit out of Peyton Manning. You got time, you can get the ball out, you can make a play. I'll give you another example with the Colts. Colts had a good offensive line when we played them in the playoffs. With Rivers. And if you gave Rivers time, an old agent, bro, he'll get the job done.
He'll pick you
and
apart.
You see it in the NFL, man. Quarterback has time. I don't care who they are. They're going to find the receiver for the most part. So imagine if you have a top 3 quarterback like a Josh Allen and you give him time. Sky's the limit, man. And we just haven't given that to him in the past 3-4 seasons. Like, it's been a long time. So we're hoping this season is that change. Go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah. No, I'm just reading the chat. Everyone's talking about the offense, how we need to add
I'm
more.
trying to pick it up as I go.
And I agree, but I want to move through this as well. So
go ahead. Yeah, we're good.
Quarterback 2 this year, we have a new backup. His name's Kyle Allen. That's the Allen brothers.
It's so funny.
He played in a whopping 2 games last year, started twice. He was 46 of 78 for 59% completion percentage, 416, 2 TDs, 4 picks. However, that's not really who Kyle Allen is. That team was awful, god awful last year. Yeah. He had no weapons to throw. As a matter of fact, when he played was like in the middle of the season when they didn't even have the running game going. So, I think he's league average backup quarterback. Nothing
younger too. You know what I mean? He's not an old guy who's going to come in and just, move around so slow. Like, he can move in the pocket out of the pocket a little bit too. So, but hopefully we never see him. You know what I mean? Like, I never want to see that guy.
Yeah, that's what Red, White, and Bills says. He's like, if Kyle Allen has to play, Lord help us all.
Oh, dude, I would. It'd be rough. It'd be rough to watch. Rough season.
Yes, Jason. Josh Allen is the engine that drives our entire offense. You take that engine out.
No, I agree.
It stalls. Like, Josh Allen makes that. He's 80. What did they say? I think there was 86% of our offense.
Right.
He is by himself.
No, he's everything to this offense. Let's be real. He's everything. The offense is totally. It's him. The offense is molded around Josh Allen, right? Running game, passing game. I mean, you name it. It's Josh Allen's offense, right? So you take him out of the equation,
you're in trouble.
We're in a lot of trouble. Like, I'm being real with you guys, and hopefully that's never the case. Hopefully Josh can stay healthy throughout his career in Buffalo. But you need a backup quarterback. You got to, because you never know, But Kyle Allen, I got to be honest, Mike. I haven't seen much from him. I don't know much about the guy as far as his play. I mean, from what I saw,
look at his career numbers that are on there. Look at his career numbers on there. He's a 62.6, vision percentage. He has shade under 5,000, 26 TDs to 21 interceptions. He is the average backup quarterback in the NFL. He's good enough to give you a split if Josh Allen misses games, depending on who you're playing. He's not beating the elite teams. He'll beat the average to bad teams.
Ransom saying we never had a good backup quarterback. We need to draft one and bring him along. See, now they tried with Jake Fromm, which, by the way, I hated that pick. Absolutely hated the pick. And I knew it was going to be bad. And it sure was when they got rid of him. I agree, though. They do eventually need to draft a quarterback. Question is when, what round? You know what I mean? But
one late. You're not.
No, I agree with that. But when? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to do it in a couple years from now and then start grooming them as far as that goes? I mean, Frank Reich came along. I mean, you could also get a decent backup quarterback in free agency and kind of keep him here for a little bit. I mean, look at Mitch Trubisky in Pittsburgh. So he went ahead and signed a deal. I think he's there for a couple more years. So he's kind of like their long-term backup, right? While their rookie or their second-year quarterback now is starting to get better, right? Or hopefully get better, get where they want him to be. Maybe the Bills do that down the road too. That's always an option instead of drafting one. But I agree in a sense they do eventually need to have a guy in here that's going to be here longer than a year, that's reliable just in case.
Kyle Allen may be that guy.
He could be. You never know. I want to. You know what? Well, I'll give you my good observations in preseason because I gotta say when I saw what's his name last year, I always forget his name because I want to forget Case Keenum. I told you early on, I'm like, ooh, I don't know, bro. He looks pretty bad, bro. And that was preseason. It just did not look good. So if Kyle Allen looks, yeah, go ahead.
Last time I saw Case Keenum, he was playing with that Browns offensive line, which is one of the best in the league.
Right.
And he's running the ball. So he looked good. You put him in with that. Well, first off, our offensive line was hot garbage last year.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And he was playing with a backup offensive lineman. So he looked bad.
It was just his throwing, Mike. It wasn't. I get what you're saying, but it just looked like he had nothing on his throws. They just didn't come out hot at all. They come out like flat. You know what I mean? It just didn't look good. So I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. But did he even get picked up, or is he still a free agent floating around?
Oh, yeah, he's back with the Texans.
Is he? Okay. Stay your ass there.
I believe he's backing up CJ Stroud.
Good.
Back home. That's where he's going to end his career back in his hometown.
I'm sure that he could do prank videos over there in the training camp. Yeah. Go ahead.
So when you look at Kyle Allen's career, you know, we went through his numbers. He's an average NFL quarterback backup. You know, Matt Barkley is our third string, which most likely will be a practice squad.
Barkley never leaves.
And Barkley's a glue guy. He's not going to be great on the field, but he's really good in the locker room.
Yeah, I get it.
Him and his family do wonders for keeping that culture right.
Yeah, so, I listen. I've never knocked Barkley for that. Like, I agree with. Like, remember last year, I was like, ugh, because we didn't have. And I thought Keenum would be a decent, but he was. But anyways, exactly why I like Barkley is exactly what you said. Like, good locker room guy, good for the young guys. Still good for Josh Allen. You know what I mean? A veteran guy to talk to when he needs to. So yeah, I agree. Keep him on his third string. Keep him on the practice squad. You need somebody throwing to the young guys anyways on the practice squad. So who else, who better than Matt Barkley? No one's going to pick him up. So it's perfect. It's perfect practice squad guy.
Yeah. Patrick G comes in and says Mariota been a good backup. The problem is Mariota wants to get paid. He wants to be paid.
Yeah.
Mariota's one of the top tier backup quarterbacks in the league that can truly still play in this league. So he's going to get $8-10 million a year to be a backup somewhere. The Bills don't got that kind of money to spend on a backup.
No, they didn't, and I wouldn't want them to either. You can always find a decent backup for decent amount of money. You don't have to overspend on a backup.
Yeah. So let's jump into and those are the only three quarterbacks that we have in camp. It's going to be the Allen brothers on game day, and I have a feeling Barkley's going to go to the practice squad like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at the running back room. I'll tell you, I was looking at the running back room. We don't have a lot of guys who have a lot of experience running the ball outside of Latavius Murray. It's not pretty.
I told you.
89 rushes for James Cook last year, 507 yards, which is really good.
It is.
Two touchdowns, 21 catches, 180 yards, 1 TD, 1 fumble. He had that 1 fumble on his very first carry and then didn't fumble again. And the fumbles are fumbles lost, by the way.
Right.
Obviously, for a career, he only had 1 season, so that's, the same. Damian Harris. In 2022, he had 106 carries, 462 yards, 3 touchdowns, 17 catches, 97 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. That's great to see. On his career, Harris only has 3 lost fumbles, and he only has 4 fumbles total.
Yeah.
He doesn't 3 of the 4.
Yeah.
He doesn't fumble the ball.
No, he doesn't put the ball on the ground.
Yep. Damian Harris in his 4 years in New England, he had 449 carries, not a ton of carries. He had barely had 100 carries a year.
Right.
2,094 yards, 20 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. And
he had a lot in 2021.
Yeah. It was his most used year, and then he got hurt last year, and then he brought in Stevenson.
Right.
Then he had 40 catches, 281. He's never caught a touchdown.
Wow.
Naeem Hines last year had 22 carries. 20 of those were in Indy. So he had 2 carries for the Bills. He had 22 carries for 33 yards.
Wow.
He averaged 1 yard, what was it? little bit over 1 yard a carry.
Wow.
1.1. 22 rushes, 33 yards, 1 touchdown. 30 catches, 241, 1 touchdown, 0 fumbles. He also had some on kickoffs. He had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns and was a solid punt returner for us.
Oh, 100%. And kick return.
Yep. On his career, Manny Hines only has 300 rushes, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. He has 240 catches, 1,700 yards, 8 touchdowns. He only has 3 lost fumbles in his career as well. There's a theme here with the Bills. They have guys who don't put the ball on the ground.
Right. Even Devin Singletary is pretty good at not putting the ball on the ground. I mean, he had a couple fumbles while he was here, but it wasn't like outrageous. By the way, yes, I was right. So Harris in 2021, that's when he had the 15 touchdowns. Great year, his best year. But here's the problem with Harris, and I'll keep telling you guys this, and we're going to go over this in a minute. He can't stay healthy. And that's the reason why you see the amount of carries he had in New England and the amount of rushing yards. He probably would have had way more than that if he actually played full seasons there. He didn't. Like 2021 was his best season because he stayed healthy. Other than that, he's been like just not available. And that's not good. Like, especially for a running back. And this is why I tell you guys, paying a running back is tough for me because of this. Because you look at a guy like that and go, let's just say hypothetically, you pay this guy a lot of money because he had the good year in 2021. And then boom, he gets hurt again in 2022. It's like you're right back to square one and you're looking for a running back. It's just like you don't want to be stuck like that. And there's a reason why that Brandon Beane only signed this guy for 1 year. Like, I'm just saying, like I'll be honest with you guys, man. Like he's not guaranteed to make this team. I'm going to be totally real with you. I don't think it's guaranteed, though. I'm just saying. We're going to get through the list, but I think Murray, honestly, which you're going to get to in a minute, I think Murray is going to be competition for him. But go ahead with the go ahead with your list.
So let me just talk about Damian Harris real quick. In his 4 years career, he only played in 2 games his rookie year because they just didn't play him. He wasn't hurt; they just didn't play him. Then 2020, he played in 10 games and started all 10 games. Then in 2021, 15 games, 2022, 11 games.
Yeah, not good. That's not good, guys. Like, you really understand. That's bad. That's bad especially considering his age. Drafted in 2019, same year as Devin Singletary. Like, he's just not been healthy. Like, that's not good, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very concerning.
Yeah, he missed a lot of games.
A shit ton.
Yeah. But he's also played more games than you want to give him credit for.
I get it, but once again, I feel like the one thing the Buffalo Bills have struggled on is short yardage and goal line. We got him for that reason. He gets hurt like he's been, and now we're stuck again finding that guy.
Or Murray.
No, if Murray's gone, let's say Harris beats out Murray. Murray don't make the team. Let's just say he's a cut candidate. Let's just say hypothetically. Then that's what I'm saying. Then you're gonna have to go fish for Murray. Is Murray still available? You know what I mean? Like, by then, you never know. You know how the NFL works. It's funny that way. So I'm nervous, man. But go ahead, because we're not done, and we'll go through all the running backs.
So then we went through Hines'. So Latavius Murray last year, he had 171. And Murray's the one veteran on this team that's actually logged real carries. Yeah. 171 last year, 760, 6 touchdowns between 2 teams, 27 catches, 132 yards. No touchdowns, but he had no fumbles as well. On his career, Beane has been like that quick seal guy on TV, running backs, slap some quick seal on the position. Right. He really has. And he's done it with the offensive line, too.
Oh, everything more on offense. More of the offensive line.
Everything on offense, it's the quick seal, 1-year deals.
Right.
You know? So then on his career, he has 1,481 rushes, a little bit over 6,000 yards, 55 touchdowns, 222 catches, 1,500 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's only fumbled and lost 2 in his entire career. He's only lost 2 fumbles in his entire career.
That's very impressive. That's impressive.
That's crazy.
That's impressive.
And then lastly, we have our fullback, Reggie Gilliam, who had 0 carries, but he had 8 catches last year for 69 yards. On his career, he's had 3 carries for 3 yards. He's had 0 rushing touchdowns. He's had 13 catches for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
Glad to have you on, Beth. Go ahead.
Yep, welcome. So when we look at this lineup, Tommy, honestly, I think Hines is the one that should be on cut patrol. I think Murray and Damian Harris are pretty close to locks to make this team. It wouldn't surprise me if all 5 of these guys were on the team.
I can kind of see that. I mean,
think about it. Last year we had Tywan Jones as that special teams only guy, and then we had Hines, Singletary, and Cook. So we had 4. Hines could be that special teams only guy, and Cooks, Harris, and Murray could be the backs.
Yeah. I guess the question is how much I get. Okay, so there's a couple questions here. One, how much do they value Reggie Gilliam as a fullback? Will they use him? Because I felt like last year, and by the way, this is not a knock on Reggie Gilliam. I think Reggie Gilliam really should be used more as a blocker, as a fullback, and he's not. I felt like last year he was like just not used much.
Early and then forgot about
not exactly used early, and then we kind of did some. Then we used him as a receiver at time. Like, he had that decent game where he caught the touchdown a couple. And the Dolphins game actually came through in week 3. He played actually pretty well in that game. But we didn't use him down the stretch pretty much, down the second part of the half season. Barely saw him on the field. So I wonder what their plans are with him as far as being a fullback. Then you got Murray. And then you got Hines and Harris, right? James Cook is making the team, right? Yeah. I'm not going to even bring up James Cook now. Right, RB1, exactly. So here's the deal. I think it's going to. I do think there's going to be a cut there. I don't think they're going to keep all these guys. I just don't. I think the odd man out probably would be Hines at this point. And the reason why I say Hines is because of this new kickoff rule, and we have Hardy now, who could do punt returns as well. And I think Hardy also does special teams. Like, there are some things we can use with Hardy, and I think keeping Hines here, and you can save some money with Hines by cutting him. So that's the reason why I can see Hines also being cut for the money of the salary cap. But I got to say, it's going to be a camp battle between Murray and Harris. And can Harris stay healthy? Will he get dinged up in camp preseason? Because Murray has been relatively healthy throughout his career, especially late in his career, and he's put up pretty good stats for an older running back. I think I saw a stat somewhere where like he's second in touchdowns and running backs in the last 2 seasons, something like that, something crazy like that. Like, he's up there, Mikey. So he's not like a bad player to have on his team.
And that's why I think he's gonna make the team. I really, unless they trade Hines, I see all of these guys making it.
Right. Bill says he risks. Yeah, but listen, I get it, but you got to remember the new rule. And I just have a feeling that special team coaches are just not going to have their players risk.
Well, I mean, you still have the punt return.
No, I get the punt return, but Hardy's electric at punt return too. So then it comes down to, okay,
they want to use him at receiver, because the Bills never take their slot guys. The reason why McKenzie became more of an offensive guy, if you do a lot of special teams, you don't do a lot of offense. It's the way they don't put too much on your plate.
Paying Hyde's contract in cash. He's not going anywhere. Do you know about that? I could swear if they cut him, they save some money. I don't know about that.
If they cut him this year, they save like 1.6. If they trade him, they save like 3.
Yeah. Here's the ultimate. Here's the thing, man. I questioned 2 of the position battles that we coming in, running back and wide receiver going into the season, and the more that I look about this running back room, guys, it's I don't know if it's I think it might be a bigger question mark than the receiver room, because I have the receivers as the biggest question mark. But man, and I will get to that next, but it's not impressive. I got to be honest. I like Murray. I like Hines. I like Harris if he can stay healthy, but they're all big. You got an aging Murray. You got a Hines who wasn't really used and probably isn't going to be used as a running back in Buffalo's system. You got Harris who can't stay healthy. You got Gilliam who's not a running back, he's a fullback, and then you got James Cook who's coming in second year. That worries me. I gotta be. And I was thinking the other day too, and we talked about this Friday, Mike, with the Kareem Hunt situation, being a free agent. How much does he want? What's his worth out there right now? What's his value? I honestly, guys, I'm telling you, I would sign Kareem Hunt today and cut 2 of these guys if I had to. I'd get rid of Hines, save some money there, and maybe Murray, and go with Harris and go with James Cook, Hunt, and Harris. And I would feel way more comfortable going this season, but I know they're not going to do it. But I just feel like you could get Hunt for a reasonable offer, reasonable deal, and you would kind of take that question mark away from the running back room. You got a veteran guy in there who's solid. Go ahead.
You talk about Kareem Hunt. You know he's only played 1 full season.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that was last year.
He's also split carries a lot with.
But what I'm saying, he's only
in
games. He's only played 1 full season.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is wild. So that's some great. But
so when you talk about Damian Harris as a guy who's
I get
injured,
that, but if you look at, I mean, if we're going to compare career stats, who's a better running back?
Oh, that's fine. I'm just saying. You know, 2019, 8 games, 13 games, 8 games. Then last year was 17. So Hunt's missed a ton of time too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying overall, but overall, I roll the dice more on, and I'm saying keep Harris though. I didn't say cut Harris. I would say if you're going to get, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like Hunt's more of a better player than Harris. He's more dynamic. He's I'll roll the dice. I'll go in the season a little bit more comfortable with Hunt than Harris. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying overall as a player, what you could do on the field. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, Hunt had his rookie year. He had 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns with the Chiefs, and everyone's like, okay, this guy's going to be a superstar. Then he got in trouble. And then he came back. And really since then, the most carries he had was in 2020 when Nick Chubb got hurt. He had 198 carries, 841 yards. But since then, it's been like 43 carries.
But are they due to injuries? I mean, I don't know. You got to remember, he's also splitting time with Chubb. I mean, he's one of the best running backs.
It's games played. So unless they just made him inactive,
which I doubt.
Which I doubt too.
I just don't remember him being injured. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't looked at his official injury chart, but either way,
he missed a ton of games over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I'd have to see. I don't know his all. I just would feel more comfortable with him almost
he averaged
than
the
any
yards
other
per
back.
attempts, same as Harris.
Yeah,
it's I think the difference is Hunt is a 2-way player because he also catches the ball really well. Where Harris he's a one trick guy.
I'll tell listen, maybe Harris. I will say this: maybe Harris on a 1-year deal has something to prove as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a prove it deal. And maybe he'll ball out for us. Maybe we'll get the 2021 Harris, and that would be awesome, right? Shit, give me 10 touchdowns. It doesn't even need to be 15. I'd be good with it. But I'm just, this running back room still, man, it's gotten me a little worried. And I do think it will be a battle, at least between Murray and Harris for that backup spot. But we'll see.
I
do
believe that too. I believe that 100% of who's going to be that. I think they all have a role kind of carved out.
Yeah.
But I think that short yardage back, there's absolutely a battle between those two guys.
Exactly.
James Cook and Hines are fighting for third down carries.
Right.
Harris and Murray are fighting for short yardage.
I'll tell you another thing I worry about with Cook, as far as Cook goes, is pass protection. Wasn't very good last year in pass protection.
Got better at the end of the year. Everything
got a little better, but he needs if you're going to be RB1, you have to be a little bit better at pass protection. Got to improve that. Now, I know Singletary started off bad as well his first year. Was not bad, but wasn't the best. He improved year after year. Maybe James Cook could do that and put a little weight on. Singletary also put a little weight on. And maybe we'll see a little bigger, bulkier Cook, at least for that, because you got to be able to block, man. So that right there, too, he needs to improve on. And that's about it. I think last year, towards the second half of the season, the game slowed down for him. I thought he was more patient, like I said, with his blocks. So we'll see. I expect a much better year out of Cook this year, second year, man, especially with this offensive line that's been revamped.
Beth isn't wrong either in her comment here. Says not for nothing, Tommy. We have some of the best rehab and prehab facilities here in Buffalo. Injuries are always a concern, but
I said that last year.
Well, listen, that last year was an anomaly.
Like, I know, I get it. And I agree. I agree with Beth. We've been known to have the best facility here, best training staff. I get rehab, whatever. I get that, but I'm just saying some guys are, and I'll give you an example. Guys that we cut, like Marquez Stevenson, he just couldn't. No matter what we did, he couldn't stay healthy. Mm-hmm. It's even Hodgins. Now Hodgins finally got healthy, but let's be real here. His first 2 seasons, I think, he was always hurt. He didn't even get to see the field and that's when we weren't having any injuries, and he just could not stay healthy. So some players, for some reason,
just have that injury.
Just have it.
Yeah, a lot of them have those soft tissues. The thing about the Bills' training staff is they do a really good job of keeping guys on the field when they can manage the injuries they do have to keep them functional and active. That's where those training things come into play. The soft tissue stuff, the pulled hamstrings, things like that. There's nothing you can do about that.
No, absolutely nothing.
Our facilities aren't going to fix that. Some guys have, unfortunately, this is the way their body is made up, and it happens.
It does. Some guys are injury prone in college, come out in NFL, and they stay healthy their NFL career for the most part. I mean, some guys were healthy in college and just get in the NFL and just cannot see the field. So it's weird sometimes. Some players just cannot. I mean, I look at the one guy, it's Shane Ray. The weirdest injury, his wrist. Ooh. And he couldn't get it right, retired.
I like Jason's comment. He says, hey, if we do, Jacobs will be a free agent next offseason. The problem is Jacobs wants a big-time money, and the Bills don't have big-time money to give to one of these backs. So Barkley's going to be a free agent next year too. Him and Jacob both didn't sign long-term deals.
We just talked about, do you really want to pay, or do you want to just get a running back in the draft?
Or just see where James Cook is.
Look at
would be exactly what we wanted.
But look at the Jets, last year. No, I get it. And James Cook might wind up being a very good running back. We don't know that yet, though. We'll see. This is an important year for him to see his, if he could take that step, the next step in his career. Mm-hmm. And they'll know. Listen, I think by the end of this year, they will know what they have in James Cook, in my opinion, by year 2, right? If it's not him, they don't see that. I honestly, Mikey, I wouldn't go out and get a free agent. I would go through the draft and find yourself a good running back. It doesn't need to be first round. There's running backs going second, third round that are good running backs. Mm-hmm.
A lot of the elite ones lately have been second rounders.
So listen, I'm just saying, I would not. There's no need to pay a running back. You can get it. You can get one in the draft. Just make sure you get the right one. Obviously, try. Scout them good, draft them, and you got him for 4 or 5 seasons on a rookie contract. You don't need to spend that kind of money. And then when the time comes, if he's the guy, then you figure that part out. But no, running back. Listen, running backs are. There's so many in the draft, man. There's so many pretty damn good ones.
And you're going to have some that are going to be free agents that are going to say, okay, I'm not going to get my top bag. I want to go to an elite offense.
Right.
Because you're going to have the Jacobs, the Austin Ecklers, the Barkleys. Yeah. Guys aren't going to get the bag that they want. And they're going to say, okay, if I'm not going to get my bag, I want to go play with a really good offense. I'm not playing to, not try to do something else. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yep.
Just to talk to, Hatch, Nate Hines, I looked it up. If we were to cut him, it's a $2 million cap savings.
Yeah, see, I knew I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that don't be surprised.
Right. So personally, I think all 5 of them make the roster. Just my gut feeling.
Okay.
But, we'll see how that plays out.
Yep.
All right, wide receivers. I have the 5 that are pretty much locks to make it, and then I have the bubble guys. So we'll start with Stephon Diggs. Last year, he had 108 catches, 1,429 yards, 11 touchdowns. His advanced stats, he had a 70.1 catch percentage. He had 8 drops, which is a 5.2%. I was surprised that was the most drops he's had in a season since his rookie
9.
year.
I know.
He had 8 drops.
Yeah, I thought I read 9 somewhere, but either way, 8, 9 don't.
9 was Gabe. Gabe had 9.
Oh, okay. Either way, it's still a ton of drop passes. Now, mind you, it doesn't show you the drop. The doesn't show you the passes either. Like I'm not. Yeah. I don't know which ones he dropped. Some of them could have been Allen's fault as well.
Some of them were like behind him, but there was a few that were just like.
There was one of the Dolphins game that I watched week 3. It was right there, man. Just drop. I'm like, wow.
There was like 3 or 4 like that this year.
Yeah,
I'd probably say half of the drops could have been a better pass, but he got his hands on him. He probably should have caught it.
Yep.
You know, on his career, he's 69.1% catch percentage. He has 30 drops, which is a 4.2%. So last year was I'll chalk that up to just a weird year for the whole.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis last year, 48 catches, 836 yards, 7 touchdowns. He had a 51.6 catch percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Half. Just a tad over half of the balls thrown his way he caught. 9 drops, which was a 9.7% drop rate.
Yeah,
so
good.
Diggs had 8 and had a 5%. Gabe had 9 and had almost a 10%. So it tells you how much more he throws to Diggs than he throws to Gabe.
Yeah.
You know? But
yeah, I get it. But not.
Stats.
It's still. I have to see them all. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If we look at the career stats, Gabe's career, his catch rate's only at 54.1. You know, and his 17 drops. So he wasn't a huge drop artist until this year.
Yeah, no, I know that. Like, his drop percentage definitely was bad this season. It wasn't as bad as rookie year and his second year. Mm-hmm. I agree with that, but I'm telling you, man, I really believe that ankle injury kind of messed with him mentally, man. I think he just, I almost feel like he was just kind of like thinking too much in his routes, maybe, on how he's going to cut or how he's going to get the ball. And maybe he was changing his, kind of like his mechanics, kind of like how Josh Allen was doing when he got his UCL, right? He had to learn to throw his mechanics, he had to change his style. Maybe Gabe Davis on the ankle, you know, because you got to remember, you're running that fast. You got to stop, turn, like there's a lot of pressure on your ankle. Maybe he was just mentally, physically just not right the whole year. I still think Gabe Davis can be that guy. I still think he could be a solid number 2 in this league, man. Oh, wow. I just think that last year was his moment, or his first moment at number 2. There was a lot of attention on him. I think he, you know, the injury didn't help early on. And I think maybe got in his head a little bit too. And I don't think it was that bad of a season. 800 yards, a little over. I mean, that's not an awful season for a guy that had that many drops. 1, had the injury 2. If he can stay healthy, he can get that drop percentage higher, better. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. And that's what we want as a number 2. And I don't think anyone could complain at that point.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Go ahead, Mike.
And someone in the comment said at least Gabe's issues are fixable. He has a 54.1 career catch radius percentage. I'm not sure that's fixable. I think he is who he is. He's going to catch about half the balls that are thrown to him, and they're going to be big plays, and that's what it is. You have to remember, Diggs or Davis is also a big play machine. He's not catching 5-yard slants. The dude's catching 25, 30, 40, 50 yards downfield. He
is our deep threat guy. Look at his average. I think it was like 17, right, per catch, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Last year. So he is our deep threat guy. Now that might change now that we have other receivers that we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. And maybe Gabe Davis can now do different kind of route running rather than just go deep all the time and you know, showcase more of his ability. Because look at, and somebody, I forget who mentioned it, but forget who, Mikey. But anyway, somebody was talking about his drops. But if you go back in like time, he made some phenomenal catches in the playoffs. Multiple caught the ball, never.
against Miami where he dove and caught it, and it looked like a nature
Oh,
catch.
dude.
I don't even know
I thought he did. I didn't think he caught it. Yes, you're talking about where he dove.
Like how he even got his hands underneath it to keep it off the ground.
The ball didn't even move. Like it was like, duh. Like, so you guys have seen the ability. You have seen the great catches, right? If he was this big drop guy, like he would have never made those catches, would have been in and out of his hands or drop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like, who still has that kind of a problem a little bit? Dawson Knox. Like, the Dolphin game, perfect example. So he had the same kind of play. Was Josh Allen threw it. It was a catchable ball, and he it moved on him on the hit the ground a little bit. Gabe Davis was almost the same kind of play, like low to the ground, and Gabe Davis made that catch, right? Made it happen because So Dawson Knox, I still think sometimes has the case of the drops as well, and he needs to also. Not as bad as he's improved, but I think he needs to still get a little bit better at that because there is some games where it's like, come on, man.
Dawson Knox,
but he's gotten better. He's gotten better, no doubt. Yeah. I'm telling you, he's gotten better. I'm just saying.
Considering he dropped 10 his first year.
Oof, yeah, I remember.
And he's dropped 4 each of the last 3 years.
Yeah, he's gotten way better, 100%. So Gabe will get there. Go ahead.
So let's move on to Khalil Shakir. He had 10 catches, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. His advanced rating, he had 20 targets, so it was a 50% catch. He had 2 drops, which comes out to 10%. So not really a lot of targets or catches to really show what he's going to do. But, I couldn't believe he only had 10 catches, and that was all in like 3 games.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of opportunities last year. I don't think he was even supposed to see the field. I'll be real with you. And I love the dude. But I think once Crowder got hurt, he was kind of forced into that role because McKenzie just couldn't really
do
it. And by the way, I still don't think McKenzie was awful here. He still had, I think he had 500 yards last year. I could be wrong, but or a little over 500, I think. I could be wrong. You have to look that up.
McKenzie right last year.
No, I don't either. But I'm just saying, I don't think he had as bad as a season as many think. I still think he was in that 500 range. But Khalil Shakir was kind of forced into that role. He didn't. You got to remember too. He probably didn't work with Josh Allen much in training camp, right? In preseason, he was working with the backups. So going in there with Josh with this offense, he's not probably familiar with the ones. I thought he did good when his number was called. 100%. He dropped a few, but nothing crazy. He also made some really unbelievable catches. And he was really mature, man. And I can't wait to see him this year, man. He has a lot of potential.
Me too. I can't wait to see Shakir, what he does in year 2. Still a big fan of him. Deontay Hardy. Last year, he only had 2 games. He had 2 catches, 13 yards, got hurt, missed the rest of the season. But on his career, he had 40 receptions, 793, 4 touchdowns. He has almost a 70% catch percentage. So he's actually holds on the ball really well. He has 4 drops in his career, 4 drops in 4 years. So
yeah, that's impressive.
3% drop rate.
Yeah,
he's not too shabby.
He listen, when he's on the field and he's healthy, he's dynamic. Like when he gets the ball in his hand, that dude, he can boogie, man. He's up there with the Hill. Now he's not as fast as Hill, but he's damn close. Like they are damn close.
Thought Isaiah McKenzie was fast. Wait until you see Hardy.
Yeah, this dude can fly, man.
And he's so little. He's small.
Yeah.
He's not really little. He's just small.
Yeah, he's small.
He's
short. Yeah,
and like he gets going, and it's just like a lightning bug. Gone.
Yeah.
Then Trent Sherfield, he had 30 catches last year, 417 yards, 2 touchdowns. His catch rate was 58.6. Ultimately, he had 3 drops, which is 5.9%. On average, his catch rate for his career is 56.8. So he kind of falls in the line of Gabriel Davis, and I like Sherfield. I like what he does, but I like him more as a 4 than a 3 because he dropped a big touchdown against the Bills last year.
Yeah, I remember.
So he does struggle with his hands a little bit.
You got his return stats, by the way, for Hardy. Jason wants to know.
I can pull them up in 1 second.
Yeah, pull him up. I think it's going to be a battle between him and Shakir for third spot, man. Shakir. Now, mind you, Sherfield had a good OTA and a mini camp day one with Josh when Diggs didn't show up or whatever that was day one. They said Sherfield was probably the brightest spot. He's also taking 1 reps with Josh at that time, so that says a lot. But mind you, it's mini camp OTA. It doesn't mean a lot. Training camp will show a lot, and preseason where Trent Sherfield is going to be put on this roster as far as position goes, like what spot. But I'm telling you, man, I don't think he got a lot of when he was in San Francisco. He was behind so much talent there. He just didn't get the opportunity. But like you said, in preseason, he was electric for San Francisco. And then when he came to Miami, you got to remember he's third on the depth behind 2 guys that
he was actually 5 to start.
Yeah, he beat out
Cedric Wilson.
Yeah,
who got a big contract from Dallas.
Exactly. So he beat him out. He became a third. You got to remember, really, truthfully, Tua really liked throwing to Hill, Waddle, and Gesicki. So Sherfield had to kind of just earn his catches, right? He had to ball out. So I felt like for what he, where he was on that team, as far as the reads were that Tua was going through, Sherfield had a good season. He had a really good season. So can he continue where he left off is the question.
My concern is around the catch rate. My concern is around his catch rate. His hands are a little shaky. Like his route running is really good.
Yeah. He made some good catches really last year, though.
He did. Yeah. It's the easy ones. Like he has the Dawson Knox syndrome. It was always the easy one. He'll make the super hard catch, but he'll drop the easy catch.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think it's going to be an interesting battle for that third spot because there's
also Kincaid you'll have to add in.
Yes, Kincaid, because Kincaid's that is an interesting.
I lumped him with the tight ends. Yeah, but really easy to use as more of a split.
I know.
Tight end, so
I was telling somebody, Curtis today. I'm like, I'm telling you, man, like that dude is not really he's not a tight end per se. Like that's not how they see him. Yeah, he's drafted as a tight end, but
he's a weapon.
I think this dude is gonna be like I think he's gonna be more of a receiver than a tight end. Like
I think he's gonna line up all over the field. I can see him lining up as an H-back out of the back.
Yeah, he's gonna be like a hybrid kind of offensive player. That I think Ken Dorsey and Bean saw, and whoever was scouting him saw the potential in this guy in the offense, especially with Josh. And that's why they drafted him. It wasn't because he's this great tight end, right? He's just a really good offensive weapon. Mm-hmm. So I think they drafted an offensive weapon, if that's even right. They drafted an OW.
Right? They've already said that Dawson Knox is going to be your starting tight end because they just paid him.
Well, he deserves. Yeah. Listen, Dawson Knox is a tight end. He's a true tight end. He deserves to be a tight end. He's an all-around tight end. Like he could block, he could pass catch. He's a good red zone player, right? But this guy here is just a weapon for Josh Allen to have at any part of the field. He could do any. I think this dude could do everything, like Mikey was saying. You can line him up almost anywhere on the field, and he can make a play. And he's going to make defenses. I'm telling you, if this guy could come out, get a connection going early with Josh, I think defenses are going to be not knowing what to do when it comes to the Bills' offense, because now you got to worry about Diggs, Gabe Davis, Don Kincaid, and then you got speed with Sherfield and Hardy. Yeah.
And Hines and Cook. And
right. You got some right now, but the question is, can they do it? Can they show, like on paper, what we saw in their career? Like Sherfield, great last year, but he didn't do anything the years before, right? Hardy, great when he's healthy, But when he's not, then he's useless, right? Shakir, he's only played one year, and we didn't use him much. What can he do year 2? So those are all question marks. But if they can all step up to the plate, then we have a really good group here, like we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same with Kincaid. Can Kincaid learn the offense quick, get a connection down with Josh quick, and actually be involved in the offense early? Or will he not catch on quick? Will he not get the connection going on early? And will he be used less because of that? It's really going to boil down to training. I'm telling you, training camp's going to be so huge for these guys, and their roles on this team in the regular season, Mikey. I'm telling you.
Yep. Yeah. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Quickly to answer the question on Hardy's punt returns. His last full year of punt returning was 2021. He had 21 punt returns, 199 yards, so 9.5. He had 12.2 average the year before that, and 9.4. Kick return, he had 29 kick returns, 690 yards, 23.8, 27.3, and 26.8. So he's electric on special teams.
Yeah, he's a dude. He's super fast, man. I'm telling you,
super fast.
Just watch his film.
Yep.
Watch the YouTube.
So let's look at the remaining guys that we have left. We have Justin Shorter, who was a 5th round pick. We don't have much on him. Marcel Aitman, in his career, he has 20 catches, 270 yards, 1 touchdown. Keyshawn Johnson, in his career, has 36 catches, 360 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Patton, 4 catches, 45 yards and a touchdown. Coulter has spent 2 years on a practice squad, and Jalen Wayne is a rookie UDFA. So not a ton in the waiting in the wings. It's Shorter is probably going to be penciled in as that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless one of these other guys just blow them out the water, and they could play special teams, because it's all going to come down to who for that 6th receiver, who can play special teams.
Which one of those guys is the 6'6" guy there? I know we got a 6'6" guy. We got a huge receiver. There's like a tall receiver we got. Which guy is that? Go look at the roster real quick. There's a guy that's like 6. It might be. There's a guy. He's huge. He's like one of our biggest. I think he's our biggest receiver. I could be wrong. 6'4", 6'5", 6 something like that. I thought it was 6'6". I could be wrong. Though. You got to look there.
6'4".
Okay, maybe it's Aitman then.
Because Johnson isn't tall.
Shorter's 6'4".
Yeah, Shorter's 6'4".
I thought he was taller than Shorter, whoever this guy was. Man, too bad I don't remember. There was a guy that we got. No, it wasn't Shorter. Shorter's the rookie.
Did we keep him or did we release him already when we signed him?
I don't know. There was a guy.
Signed guys and then released them.
Okay, maybe release him, because there was a taller receiver we had that we signed him. Like, damn, that dude's really tall.
I'm pulling him up right now. Give me 1 second.
Okay. I could swear he was like 6'6", bro.
I'm
telling you.
of a 6'6" receiver.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Aitman's 6'4". Looking for all the wide receivers. Coulter 6'2". Gabe Davis is 6'2".
Yep.
Diggs is 6 foot.
Yeah, right here. Red, White, and Bills. It's Atwell, 6'6".
No. Atwell. Who's Atwell? Are you talking about Aitman?
I thought we had a receiver at
6'4".
No, it wasn't him. Maybe it's a guy we did cut. Hold on. Yeah, Katarius Atwell. No, that's 5'9", so it can't be him. I could swear we had it, man. It sucks I don't remember, but maybe we cut him. If you guys know a receiver that we had, it was like 6'6". I'm telling you, Mikey.
He's not on the roster anymore.
Yeah, maybe we cut him. I'm curious now though, because now it's going to make me mad.
Because Shavers is 6'4". Patman, Shavers, Shorter are all 6'4".
I don't know. Maybe we did cut him, but there was. I'm telling you, they picked up a guy, and maybe they cut him. I think he was like he played for like, I want to say I think it's Atwell. I don't know. You got
Ben said Shavers, and Shavers shows up on here. If he's 6'6", he shows up on the.
It was a guy that played. I think he played for like USFL or XFL, something like that. Like he played for like a weird league.
Aitman played for. He was former Raider. He played for the USFL He played for the CFL and he played for the XFL.
I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But there definitely was, Mikey. Trust me. I don't remember his name though. You know. I wish I remember.
The Bills list 8-man as 6'4". So if he's 6'6", the Bills roster lists him at 6'4".
Yeah, no, it's not him. There was another guy. Who's Marcel Atman? Look him up.
That's who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. So no, then there was another guy 6'6",
Marcel
man.
Aitman.
Okay, I don't know. Oh well, we'll move on. But there was definitely, trust me, I remember seeing him.
He's not on the Bills official roster.
Then that means they probably cut him. Then. Yeah, they might have cut him. But there was, because I was like, damn, that dude's tall, bro.
Zach Davidson, he was like 6'7". He was the tight end that got hurt and went on IR.
Oh, okay. No, it was a receiver, but that's all right. I'll figure it out later, but that definitely was.
So, I mean, when you look at here, Shorter has the leg up as the draft pick. Jalen Wayne is the cousin, Reggie Wayne.
Correct.
The rest of the guys are just like all just journeyman guys.
Yeah, none of those guys are. The only guy there, you got Justin Shorter there somewhere, right?
He's up top, the first one.
He'll make this team. I think I think Brandon Bean drafted him for a reason. They see the potential.
Special teams.
Special teams won, and I think they see the potential in the future for him at wide receiver. If he can stay healthy, if he can learn the system, but there's no rush to get him on the field on offense. So get him in. They're going to keep him because they don't want to. If they put him on practice squad, he'll get picked up. Mm-hmm. And he'll be a special teamer, and he'll learn the offense, and we'll see what happens next season when he gets an opportunity to be on offense. And when it comes to training camp,
the only way there's a bubble is if we sign somebody else. Spin's like there is no bubble. The 6 receivers are Diggs, Davis, Shakir, Hardy, Sherfield.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unless we go out and sign somebody, who's Brandon Kaufman?
I don't know.
He wasn't on.
I don't remember the name. Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, right.
He's more of a tight end than Kevin Nash back in his day. So that kind of gives us through and through for our 3 position. We'll do tight end next week with the O-line.
Yeah, we'll do it Monday. That's fine. So what's your guys' thoughts like on this upcoming season as far as where do you see this Bills receivers going? Like, I have a big question mark going into the season. Are you guys more confident in this receiving crew than me, in this receiving group than me, or do you guys have concerns? Just curious what you guys feel, because I obviously voiced my opinion. I guess I'll ask you while they're catching up. What's your are you concerned like me, Mikey, or are you just kind of like, I believe in this group, they're going to get through it?
The receiver room?
Yeah, the receiver room. And then we'll get to the running.
I'm absolutely concerned. There's a reason why I was saying we should sign D-Hop.
D-Hop, yeah.
Like, I like the ceiling of this receiver room, but the floor is just so low. Like,
I know.
We lose one of these guys, just one of this, we lose one of those top 5. Now we're having Justin Shorter playing some serious snaps. Or we're bringing in 8-man or Patman or one of those guys. The nice thing is as the team, as Chris says, Kincaid's an X factor. Having Kincaid in there as a receiver will help.
I agree. But once again, you're asking a lot for a rookie, just like you were asking a lot for Shakir to step up last year.
Yeah.
You got to remember. Now, I will say the difference between Shakir and Kincaid may be that Kincaid's probably going to be working with the ones in training camp, which will benefit him going into the season. Shakir didn't probably have that. I'll be honest with you. He's probably working more with the backups, case Keenum and all them. So Kincaid will already have that connection kind of down, hopefully, with Josh Allen entering week 1.
Yeah.
Then that Shakir didn't really have, right? Who was kind of just thrown in the mix. Yeah. I think Kincaid will already be involved with the first team offense throughout training camp, throughout preseason when they do play
OTAs.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it'll be a smooth transition going into the season, and maybe he will be the X factor and
Nice.
we won't have to worry about it.
That'd be nice. I mean, when you look at it from a pure talent standpoint, like I like what we have, but it's not a deep room at all.
No,
Like when you look at last year's, like when we lost Crowder, that threw everything into chaos. Crowder was our veteran.
yeah, it
was our veteran
did.
slot. We thought we were going to get more out of him,
Right.
And then he broke his ankle and was done for the year, So it's one of those things of if all these guys stay healthy, we'll be fine. But if these guys start going down, it can get thin quick.
Let's see here. No, I'm telling you, there was a guy that was like 6'6", and I'll pull it up. I'll tell you Friday who it was, because there was. We just probably didn't. Somebody said he probably was just a walk on. He's like one of those guys we invited to camp and just.
And there was guys that we signed before we signed some of these newer veterans that we released.
Mm-hmm.
So, like before we signed Aitman, we had another receiver. We released the receiver, signed Aitman. We had a receiver that we released because of
right, exactly,
because of the tight end and Puna Ford and all these different guys. Because we even released Tanner Gentry, who is Josh Allen's best friend.
Yeah, guys running is 12 personnel.
I don't know how much true 12 personnel you're going to see. When I say true 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the end running it. I think we're going to run 12 personnel, but I think you're going to see our second tight end split out.
Right.
And you only call it 12 personnel because technically he's listed as a tight end.
As a tight end, correct. I'm telling you, man. I think eventually we're just gonna list him as just a hybrid weapon. He's not your traditional tight end. He's just not. Like I don't see him that way.
Travis Kelce.
That's right. That is true. But I think I think Kincaid can be used even a little bit more as far as different kind of options for Allen. Because what Allen does. But who knows? Maybe he will be like maybe he'll be exactly what Kelce is. Let's hope. If he's exactly what Kelce is, then yeah.
Kelce's going to go down as probably the greatest tight end ever. Honestly.
Yeah. Who do you got Who right now do you have? I mean, who would be the greatest? Gronk? I mean, Gronk's up there, right? You have to put Gronk.
I mean, you have Gronk. You have Antonio Gates.
Gonzalez.
Tony. Shannon Sharp.
Gates was
It's hard to say who's the greatest because
You're right, Shannon Sharp. God, Hall of Famer. I met Gates, by the way. Parked his car when I was
like Gates. Gates was the part of the starting of the real passing tight ends. Like Gonzalez was great, in his era because they didn't throw; they ran more than they threw, and he still had those. Same with Shannon Sharp. Like it's hard to put them that way. I would say I would put them on a Mount Rushmore of having those guys on a Mount Rushmore.
That's fair.
I remember that's like comparing LeBron and MJ, 2 completely different eras.
No, you're right.
You can't.
I remember when Gates was still playing. Remember when Gates was still around? Yeah. When he got his older, he was so slow, but he still was making plays.
Yeah, he was.
I think he retired and then he came back one more year or something. And he was so slow, but
called him off the
he
couch.
still was.
He put up touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine.
Yes, dude. Just a physical, big tight end, man. That could catch, man. Good tight end.
I mean, when you look at it from the goats of the tight ends, it's really what era are you looking at? Like there's. I look at the when you rank things. I don't like to rank people. I like to rank tiers.
Bills have never had a unbelievable.
Austin Knox is going to break all the tight end records like this year.
Well, that's because we really haven't had a tight end. I mean, we've had some decent ones. Don't get me wrong, but nothing to write home about. Like they're okay, I'm just saying,
Red, White, and Bills is true. He's not a true tight end, but there isn't very many true tight ends anymore.
Yeah, the games changed. Man.
So it's hard to stack them because it's changed so much. I'll tell you, Shannon Sharp considers Kelce a tight end, so I'll consider Kelce a tight end.
I mean, Mike's made a great point. Look at Pitts. Pitts is like a receiver, right? I'm just saying, like he's built like a receiver. He's not built like a traditional.
It's a lot like Kincaid.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's not right, but I mean, he could play. He's more of a receiver than a tight end. Like, you know what I mean? So a lot of the tight ends now are lanky. They're not as big. They're not slow. Like, I'm just saying, the game's kind of evolved a little bit, especially in the tight end department. Back in the day, I remember tight ends were huge. Keith Jackson, these huge, bulky, slow tight ends.
Kittle, and people are talking about Kittle in the comments. Kittle very much is probably the best all-around tight end in the game because he's such a good blocker.
Yeah,
and he's
give him that.
Fantastic. Like if he was used, he could be used the same way Kelsey's used in an offense, and he would probably put up similar numbers. But he's not asked to do that. At times in that San Francisco offense, they forget about him.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's so talented. He's such a playmaker. They just don't use him that way. He could be considered like he's probably the best all-around tight end in football.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
He is a monster. And he's one of those guys who is like it's the reason why Josh Allen goes to tight end U every year because he's such good friends with those guys. And they see the life similar. Like they're always just laughing and having fun on the football field.
Yeah.
Like they both say, I get to play a kid's game for a living. How do you not enjoy this?
Exactly. Well, that's what I meant. If I'm doing doing tiers, tight end needs a block and catch. Kelsey's just a receiver listed as tight end. I mean, it depends. I get what you're saying, but not every tight end is built that way. Not every tight end's using the system.
Jimmy Graham wasn't a true tight end. He was a receiver as a tight end.
From the U, baby. Was a former basketball player, converted to tight end, and had a really great career.
He was not a good blocker.
Right.
He was like, but he put his hand in the dirt and played on the end. He was more of a receiver than a blocker.
Exactly.
He'll be the first one to tell you that.
I don't know if there's exactly. I don't know if there's like I don't know if that exists.
Gronk was a great two-way player. He could block as good as he could catch.
There's just not a lot of them, though.
Tony
I would
Gonzalez,
say they could do that were great at both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't
Tony
mean
Gonzalez,
you're not.
He wasn't an elite blocker. Like that's the thing about Kittle. Kittle's an elite blocker.
Yeah.
You know, he's like he's an elite. He's kind of a different mold.
Kincaid is not like I'm gonna tell you right now. Kincaid is a bad blocker. From what I saw in college, he's just not. It's not his game.
Average. Blocker.
Yeah.
He's not horrible. He'll get in the way, but I've seen him trying to block defensive linemen, and now he's gonna be split out. He'll be blocking wide receivers. He might actually be a plus blocker now.
But I've seen him. Listen, he can play physical. I've seen him play physical, but I've also seen him get blown up against linebackers. But I don't think that's. Once again, I don't think that's what Buffalo's gonna use. I just don't. I think he's gonna be more of that wide receiver type player. He's not gonna be really asked to block much, and he's just gonna be a playmaker on offense, not really used out there to block. It's not gonna be his thing like a Kelsey. He's just not. And I think they understand that. They understood that when they drafted him. They know what they know what they're getting in Kincaid. They know his weaknesses and they know his strengths.
So let's hope
and obviously the strengths outweigh the weaknesses. Absolutely. And that's why he should have been a top 10 pick. And I totally understand why we drafted him when we get up. I get it now. But I would say this though. If we didn't get Torrance in the second round, I still might be a little bitter on that pick because we needed offensive line help. Luckily, Bean bailed us out and got it, and I was happy. Me and Mike were like, "All right."
You wanted Torrance. See, I wanted Nolan Smith.
Honestly, listen, I wouldn't even been mad if it wasn't Torrance. If it was an offensive lineman that
I wanted no part of Antoine Harrison. He was the last tackle on the board. I wanted no part of him.
Right.
I wanted us to take Nolan Smith at that point because I thought he was a top 10 edge rusher that fell to the end of the draft. And he would have been able to learn from Vaughn, and he's built very much the way Vaughn's built, and that would have been a fantastic, transition through a couple years, and then he turns it over, and he's that guy with on the other side of group. However, getting Kincaid, now understanding that Kincaid was the best pure pass catcher of the draft. Okay,
yeah,
and then we came back and got we got Torrance in the second. And then we signed Leonard Floyd and Poona Ford. I can't be mad.
It made up for
it made up for it.
It did. It really did. It really did. So I think I'm more excited I'm excited for Buffalo Bills football, obviously, but I don't know why. I think this is the first season going in that I'm kind of excited to see what this defense is going to do under McDermott. Like, there's so many.
I am so nervous about that, Tommy.
I'm nervous, but that's what I get you, and I'm with you. But that's what makes it exciting for me.
I don't know.
You get what I'm saying?
Like,
I don't. Like, to me, I don't know why, but it's like I get where you're coming from. I do. I'm with you. But at the same time, it's like I felt like for the first time they finally built a defense with some good quality depth, especially on the line. And we got guys coming in our second year like Kyer Elam, Christian Benford. And we got Trey White coming back healthy now.
Yeah.
And then you got Vaughn coming. Yeah,
yes.
You got Vaughn coming, you got Leonard Floyd. Like, and then you got the McDermott factor, right? He's the question mark. Because and then by the way, Poyer Hyde coming back. But it's like I know what the team can do. Like, I know the players are all good, man, solid. But the question mark is like, what can McDermott do with this defense? Now that it's in his hands, there's no one we can point the finger to and say, yeah, this is it. Like, and I want to see that aggressive style defense that we haven't really seen under Frazier, right? Since McDermott's been head coach. And that's exciting for me because you have now the guys to do it if you're trying to be aggressive, right? You have aggressive corners in Kyer and Christian Benford, right? You have an aggressive defensive line and edge rushers that can get after quarterback. You got your linebacker now who's like a hybrid linebacker. You got Taylor Rapp who can come in and get after the quarterback too, could play both safety and linebacker. Like, it's exciting. Honestly, it's exciting because I know what the offense, like, listen, I love the offense. I love Josh Allen. Like, it's already going to be exciting enough, right? Like, it's always exciting, but the defense is what I want to see. Like, because I've never seen it with just McDermott calling it. You know what I mean? Like, if McDermott can bring that style he had in Carolina and Philly,
yes,
then we got ourselves
more so Carolina. Carolina.
But even in Philly, not bad defense. If he could bring that style and bring that style into the playoffs, most importantly, then guys, watch out. Like, this team could be very, very dangerous in the playoffs. If the one thing that's let us down every year is the defense for the most part when we got into the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be so interesting. And that's why I'm kind of excited to see how this defense plays out under McDermott. But I get your nervousness. I get it. But at the same time, it's exciting, man. It's exciting to see what McDermott can actually do now that he is in full control. This is it. You right? There is no more excuses, no more pointing the finger. Like, it is your. And I want to see.
He was also.
I also want to see him
coordinator before he became a head coach. He was an elite defensive coordinator.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. So I want to see him I want to see how he handles it pressure wise, like how he gets heated. Like, I want to see him get going after it. You know what I mean? He has double duty now, Mikey. Double duty, head coach and defense coordinator.
Yep. So two things.
Yeah.
One, I was wrong. The rookies report tomorrow.
Oh, you see, I had a feeling they reported a week early. Okay.
They report tomorrow. The rest of the veterans report on the 25th. So camp technically opens tomorrow.
Oh,
so the previous couple of years they reported 2 or 3 days early, and that was because of COVID. Now that there's no more COVID protocols, they get to report a week early.
Nice. So we're going to be talking Friday, some rookie training camp talk.
Well, the 26th of July is the first open practice where media is allowed, that people can go and actually see them. So, but yeah, the rookies report tomorrow. And then my second piece is I want to hit on spins. I really want this O-line to be above average all the way around because this is the line we're going to have for the next couple of years. I'm with you. The church of Bill Mafia. Yes. Come on. Tommy will preach for you all day long.
Dude, I'll go hours, 7 hours of Bill's Mafia talk.
It's not like we haven't done that. We did it on draft night. At day 2, we spent like 5 hours on there.
My God, dude. So anything else you got for the chat?
No, so on Friday we will dig into the tight ends and defense or offensive line.
Okay.
Then the following Monday we'll do the defensive line. And then if we have, because there's a lot of defensive linemen, and then if we have, depending on the time, we'll look at either doing linebackers, secondary, and special teams after that over the next following one. So every show over the next two weeks, we'll be having a position breakdown, which will take us right into after training camp opens, and we'll start getting reports.
Nice. By the way, I had a great time on that Jets channel I went on Saturday.
Did you? Nice.
Oh, dude. I
know you dropped the Go Bills to leave.
I even dropped a Go Bills. And you saw the guy laugh because he was already hitting the button to go by. And I'm like,
Bills.
Go Bills. He's like, damn it. I'm like, yeah, bro. That's how you do. But I represented the Bills Mafia to the fullest. And by the way, I had a great time. That dude was a good dude. If you guys want to check that out, it's DKB Jets. You'll see me on there.
Are you talking about coming on to your AFC show?
Yeah. So he's going to be like a guest here and there on the AFC Shakedown too. Really nice guy, by the way. Really, really nice guy. Easy to talk with. Let me talk, and y'all know I could talk. So, he let me, go on my rants and everything. And
so
he didn't take
podcast on a Jets show.
Yeah, pretty much. And he didn't take anything.
Let me ask
bad.
You
yeah.
What's his take on the Jets this year?
It was really, honestly, it was more of a Buffalo Bills podcast. It was a lot about, I guess it was just wanted to know, how I felt, how the offseason went, all that stuff. We talked a little bit about the Jets, a little bit about Zach Wilson, a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. And basically it was just me, voicing my concerns with his team. He actually thinks the Bills are still the team to beat. He's still...
so he's one of the true football fans that understands that.
Yes, and that
team gets.
And even if he said it is what it is, but I got to give him credit. He was an honest dude. He saw, he sees the potential in his team, but he understands too that the Bills are still the team to beat. They still have Josh Allen. The fact that we had a good offseason as well. So he was
talking about. I love that no one's talking about it too.
Yeah. So Spin, he
would get more words in on the podcast.
So if you want to watch a Bills Mafia podcast on a Jets podcast, go watch it. Because man, it is what it is though. But he said he'll be as coming on as a guest this year on AFC Shakedown. So that's cool because as you guys know, last year
I'd love to split some times with them too. This season.
Oh, dude, for sure. So here's the deal. So we play them, obviously, guys. Week one, Monday night. I'm trying to do something, and I'll get it worked out where we go on as a guest on him, and he comes on a guest on ours before that showdown on Monday night. So, and obviously AFC Shakedown. So what I might do is we might wind up going on his podcast, and then Saturday, since AFC Shakedown, I'll have you come on as well, and we'll have this kind of a preview as well because we're previewing anyways, and that might be a fun thing to do. So, I can't wait for this season. A lot of things happening. And by the way, I don't know if Red, White, and Bill's still watching. Hit me up I sent you my email. Hit me up if you can so we can talk a little bit more off air.
Cool. And then also for everyone that's here, make sure you check out what's going on in the lineup over on Buffalo Fanbase. Lots of good shows on Fanbase as well. So make sure, we're partnered with them again this year. Excited about that. Tommy is just one big.
That's how I do, baby.
Especially when he starts getting a few adult beverages in him.
Yeah, man. Go Bills. So, damn right, go Bills.
All right, buddy. Well, let's wrap this up. I'm going to go eat some food.
Yeah, don't blame me. Hey, guys, Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. And I'm going to play the outro. Peace! out.